Triad basketball up next. 3A Mespy winners for Team of the Year. But first, if you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Metro East on the Illinois or the Missouri side, please give our partners at Keller Williams Marquis Jeb and Ginger Blasingame the chance to serve you. They have offices in O'Fallon and Edwardsville with more than 165 agents. The Blasingames are a family-owned business that has helped over 11,000 families find just the right home. The Lipes are one of those families. Jeb and Ginger sold our house quickly because they're experts at staging and pricing, and they helped us find the perfect home, and they can do the same for you. No wonder they've been ranked in the top 10 real estate teams in North America. Give Jeb and Ginger Blasingame a call at 618-578-9276 or check them out online at blasinggamegroup.com. You will not be disappointed. And it's hot in the Metro East, but no matter what the temperature is, Viviano Heating and Air Conditioning has your emergency calls and maintenance services covered. Viviano is a family-owned and operated company proudly serving the Metro East for over 30 years. Viviano provides quality heating and cooling services, including repairs, installation, and maintenance. Looking for a new furnace or AC unit? Need emergency services or maintenance? What are you waiting for? Call to schedule a service appointment with Viviano today at 618-345-7498 or visit them online at vivianoair.com. Welcome to the show, Coach Guidry.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
You think anybody's looking for a furnace today from Viviano? I think they'd be more looking for that air conditioner.
More like an air conditioner.
Feels like a furnace every time you walk outside. Okay, Coach, congratulations. 3A Team of the Year. The Triad Knights had an amazing year, and you brought with you two of your top players. Welcome to the show, guys. First, let's welcome Drew Winslow. Good to see you, Drew.
Good to see you. Thank you.
And next to you is rising senior Tyler Thompson. Good to see you, Tyler.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Lots of highlights for you this year, Coach. What are the games that you'll remember the most?
You know, that's a great question. We had a lot of ups and downs throughout the year, particularly the first half of the season. So it took some tough losses early. I think we had a little 3-4 game losing streak going on to start the year. But, we kind of hit our stride in the Prairie Farms tournament in Collinsville. We placed fifth there for the first time in, I think, 30 appearances. Triads had there. We placed and brought home a trophy. So ever since that point, I think we went on a nice little run. I think we won 19 out of our last 22 games. But really what sticks out to me is just a lot of the adversity we felt throughout the year, a lot of comeback wins. We had a game in a tournament over in Litchfield where these two were both out. One was sick and one was injured. And, we had some guys kind of step up and take us for two more wins after that. So then you get into the postseason. Obviously, those are memories you're gonna keep for a really long time, especially for these kids. And, that experience and, that super sectional with those crowds and playing Centralia down in sectional and Mount Vernon and those situations. So,
Tyler, how about you? What are you going to remember from this season?
I think the biggest game I'm going to remember is the super sectional against Chatham Glenwood. I mean, just taking the court, you look out in the stands, and you can't even really count how many people there are out there. Like, if I had to guess, it's probably 2,000-3,000. And,
how do you feel when you see a big crowd? Do you feel any different than if the gym is relatively empty?
You would think we would all be nervous, but it wasn't like that at all because it's a super sectional. We're there for a reason, and we just go and we go play.
Drew, tell me some games. Tell me some moments you're going to remember from this senior season.
Yeah, definitely one moment I'll remember the most is the sectional game. That game was definitely my favorite. Going out there in the first half, we were kind of down. I forget what the score was. It's a super low-scoring game, but we just couldn't get really anything going in the first
game
half.
Against Centralia?
Yeah, the game against Centralia in the sectional. And then it got to the second half, and I think we let up 5 points in the second half. That was probably the best defense we've played as a team the whole season. And I like that moment because at the end of the game, I threw the ball into the rafters because I thought it would be over. There was like a couple seconds left. I threw the ball into the rafters, but there's actually like a second left when it hit the top. So the refs called they had to stop the time or whatever, and so it made it more dramatic. But that's a really funny memory of mine. And that's definitely my favorite game.
Do you remember him throwing the ball up in the rafters?
Yeah,
Before the game was over?
Yeah, we kind of got what we felt was the end of the game stops, and Trey had the ball, called a timeout. So Drew grabbed the rebound and smartly kind of started to throw it down the court before they could foul him, and just went too high, hit the rafters, and everybody was jumping on the court. Our assistant coaches were out on the court, everybody. Then all of a sudden we turned around, and I think they put like 0.2, 0.3 back up on.
So you weren't that mad?
Well, I was a little nervous, right? Because
at the moment,
they're going to get it at half court, and we're like, oh my god, we're thinking and strategizing again. But it all worked out. Drew actually made a defensive play there in the end in the last 0.3 that kind of.
So they got the ball at half court? Mm-hmm. Oh, so they did have time to make a shot.
Yeah, they could have got a tip. Yeah.
Okay. 26 points was how many points you guys gave up. You said that was a strong defensive effort, but man, that is an all-time low. But I look at the game before that, and against Mount Vernon, you only gave up 27. Sounds like this team played some rock-solid defense all year long, Coach.
Yeah, that's kind of been our identity for probably the last few years, really. We know at times that, we've got a great coaching staff, number one, that Coach Hari and Coach Jackson and Coach Falkenberg and those guys really, have taught all of us that, in the game of basketball, your shots aren't always going to go in, but you can play defense, right? And that's going to keep you in games. So that's kind of become our identity, kind of become part of our culture. I think these guys learned it from that team in 2023 where they had some senior-led guys that kind of taught them the way on that. And for us this year, it really started to hit stride kind of in February. That post right in a good time.
So that team 2 years ago was the team that got to the Sweet 16?
Yes, sir.
And these guys have been starters. You told me before the show started. These guys have been starters since they were freshmen.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we've started a freshman again this year. So 4 years in a row, we've started a freshman. Tyler's little brother, actually, Lucas, started for us this year as a freshman. But yeah, Drew came in as a ninth grader on a. I mean, we struggled that year. We were young. Drew was a freshman, and we kind of threw him out there and let him learn the ropes. And I think that team only had one senior, so we struggled a little bit that year. It was that following year. He was a sophomore. Tyler came in as a freshman. I think he said 3 words the whole year, but kind of started him out on JV, and it was real quick that we realized like he's a guy that could help us this year. So obviously that experience really paid off for them this year.
Oh yeah, anytime a kid gets to get varsity minutes as a freshman,
it's hard to do.
But if they can do it, your body's got to be ready and your mind's got to be ready. Do you remember those first varsity games you guys as freshmen?
I do. For me, it was actually the first ever high school game I ever played. He just threw me out there and started me. It was against Granite City, and I think I had like 16 points because nobody knew who I was because I was coming in. So they had no scouting report, nothing. So they probably just put somebody random on me. And
so you played well?
Yeah, that's the most alive I've ever felt. It was really cool.
How about you?
I can't say it went the same for me. So I got a JV game to warm up, and then take the court for varsity, and I was pretty nervous. Luckily, at the end of the game, I got fouled. I got put on the line, and got my first buckets from the free throw line. Made 2 in a row.
Coach says defense is at the core of your identity at Triad. Obviously, getting to the Sweet 16 2 years ago and the Super Sectional Final this year, you guys are having a lot of success. What else would you say is at the heart of the success you're having in Triad boys basketball?
I would just say like togetherness, like from the team in 2023 and the team last year. Like that's just something that we have in common is just everybody that we're like all best friends. Like we're friends on the court, we're friends off the court, and I think that just really helps us to play well together.
Yeah, for me, Coach Guidry really brought a great mindset to our program. We really have 3 pillars. It's championship, standard practices, good shot selection, and leadership mindset. And that's just really what he kind of encouraged us to have every single practice, every single game. He really pushes us in practice. That's something that I had to get used to. The practices are tough at Triad, and I think that he's done a really great job preparing us for the games, especially defensively.
How are they tough?
We're always on the go. Shout out Coach Hari. I mean, he'll be at half court and you'll be under the basket. He'll run all the way around the court just to get on your tail to make sure you're doing the right thing. And we're just always on the go. Just run.
So when you play the games, do the games feel faster or slower than practice?
Oh, it definitely feels slower. We're very, like Tyler said, we're all friends, so we all go at each other in practice. No holding back. So once it gets in the game, it's honestly a little bit easier than practice.
Right out of John Wooden's playbook of make your practices so fast that the games feel slow?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our objective, right? He talked about the leadership mindset, and, that's the base of what we do. We kind of started that 6 years ago when we came in, and it's like, you really should have one mission in life, and that's to wake up every day to make yourself better at something and to have a passion to make those better at what they do around you. And, if we carry that mindset into practice every single day, we think it's going to pay off. So we want to focus on that, not necessarily what our end results are going to be when the season's over or things like that. So, we stress each and every day, whether you're the guy getting the most minutes or the most points, or whether you're the last guy on the team, like, you have a job, and that job is to make that guy next to you better. And if you're not going hard, you're not making yourself better, and you're not making those guys better, right? So, that's kind of the culture we built upon. And these guys have done a great job with it. The groups years ago kind of passed it on to one group, and they've passed it on to these guys, and hopefully they'll pass it on to the next group.
Who influenced you to create this mindset?
Just a lot of different ways. Just, I was blessed and cursed a little bit. I had, from 7th grade through my 1 year of college, I had a different coach every year. I never had the same coach 2 years in a row. So I got to see a lot of kind of what worked, what didn't work. I worked as an assistant under 2 really good coaches. And then, professionally, I've had some great leaders, some great bosses. So I think leadership from anywhere in the world can apply to athletics and especially high school sports and kids and what we're trying to do. So
right on. Are you a teacher at Triad?
I am not. No.
Okay.
I work outside. I'm a financial advisor.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you. You're a senior. You're done with Triad basketball. You're going to miss it next year. Tell me what you're going to miss.
I'm honestly just going to miss coming into practice and messing around, fooling around for the couple minutes that we have before practice actually starts. I mean, those little you never know in the moment, but the little moments of just joking around, having fun, like, now that it's all over with, that's definitely what I'm going to miss the most.
And you're a junior, so you've got your senior year left, and I always think going into your senior year, the best is yet to come. What are you looking forward to next year as a senior, Tyler?
I'm looking forward to having an increased role. With Drew gone, we're going to miss him, but we need somebody to step up as a leader like what Drew was. So I feel like that's my opportunity to kind of step up and lead the guys.
Coach, this is one of the great teams. How many years have you been at Triad?
This was my 6th season.
Okay. So you've had 6 teams. You got to the Sweet 16 a couple years ago. Where does this team rank amongst those other 6? Is that an unfair question?
It's like they asked me this at Drew's graduation party. We had some. So Drew's brother played for me as well.
Was he any good?
Both brothers.
Yeah, both brothers.
So I've coached all 3 Winslows. They all played at various teams, and then some of the guys from old teams were there. Which team's better? So I say it's kind of like asking a dad which one is his favorite kid, right? We've had in 6 years, we set 3 school records for single season wins, going back to the first year, then 28 wins, then 29 wins. So it's tough to say. I mean, this year was tough. I mean, our conference was as good as it's been since maybe I've been there, in my opinion. A lot of
definitely
talent.
as deep.
Yes, a lot of talent. I think every team had one guy that started since they were freshmen. Every team had a 1,000-point scorer. So a lot of talent this year. So that was tough. So I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Okay.
Hopefully Tyler's team will be better than this year. Let's put it that way.
You think you'll have you've got talent coming back next year?
Yeah, we do.
Tyler.
Yeah, we returned probably 4 or 5 of our 8 guys in the rotation from last year. So Tyler, his younger brother, Nolan Keller, obviously you had on here the other day. Kid named Mac Musgrave, who I think you'll hear a lot about in football season this year as well. Brody Hasquin, another football player. So yeah, we've got some guys coming in, and Justin Stragi, a kid that got some minutes for us last year, and some good young talent coming up too. So
when it's all said and done, maybe you'll come back next year and we'll talk about where Tyler ranks among the all-time players. Drew right now is 4th.
All-time scorer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And certainly amongst the elite players ever to play?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I haven't been around Triad but about 6 years or so. Followed it for a little bit, for 10 years or so. But, when some of the guys come around and talk about, they just talk about, the impact he's had on the program, not just as an athlete, but as a student and within the community and things of that nature. But certainly certainly been a pleasure and a joy to coach him and know him since, I don't know, 7th grade, right, when I first came in. So we're going to miss him. We're definitely going to miss him.
How would you describe the impact that he's had on the team and the culture and the community?
Well, I think, we've done a pretty good job kind of building this program up from the foundation down to like our Little Knights program we have in town through our middle school. We've got some great coaches down there and established a great foundation down there. So, when you see these kids come to games and we have them there at every game and you see the excitement they see when they see Drew and waiting for him for autographs after a game and things of that nature, I think he just brought a lot of excitement, right, and athleticism and things that like we haven't seen much at Triad. So we're definitely going to miss him. I mean, not on top of that, he's a great student, great kid, very humble, humble.
What are you doing next year?
Next year, I'm going to go play baseball at Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. You're going to be a Cowboy.
Yes, sir.
Good for you. What position?
Pitcher.
Okay. Coach Guidry, congratulations. Mespy winner, 3A Team of the Year.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you next year. Tyler Thompson, good luck. We'll see you next year on the basketball floor. Good luck at Oklahoma State.
Thank you. I appreciate it.